around and exploring, which she does sometimes. We just try to just support underneath her booty and she'll be good.
I thought it was a baby kangaroo.
So I'll twist her around to you, and she's gonna wrap her legs around your torso first, and then you'll support underneath her booty.
So can we take some pictures?
Yeah, and I can take pictures for you too if you want me to. And then underneath her booty there, yeah. Good girl. Get you some food here. There we go, snuggled in. So that didn't take long at all.
Oh my goodness, look at you.
Zoe is a two-toed sloth.
Okay.
She is got two toes on the front and three on the back. So it makes more sense to say two-fingered instead of two-toed. You can get them a little bit confusing.
Oh my goodness.
Loves to snuggle in up there around your neck.
So they're native to,
Central and South America.
okay.
Yeah, so places like Costa Rica and Guatemala, Honduras, places like that. That's where they like it. So their sweet temperature is like 78 to 85 degrees, which is obviously it's not like that here year round, like it is where they're native. So we have to control their environment, because if the outside temperature were to drop, the sloth's body temperature would as well. They can't maintain their own body temperature, and that's really important for them. So we only open up their outdoor enclosures when it's warm enough to do so, and then we close it back in the evenings.
So is there a window? Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So his flash's enclosure goes up 20 foot, and then he has access to that outdoor enclosure as well.
Will they climb to the top?
Mm-hmm. Yep. His favorite spot to stay up there is in the very top in his little hammock.
Takes him a while to get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, when he's on the move, when he's wanting to get up there, he can actually move pretty quick. So
Yeah.
in the mornings, he does his encounters first thing from 10 to 10:30, and then 10:30 to 11. And he'll do his encounters out here on this branch that's hanging. And then when he's done, he puts himself back in there. We just open up that door. He goes up to the very top. He likes to dig around looking for bugs. He's working his way into trying to be doing like pedicures and stuff there.
Well,
He hasn't made it yet. He does his best though.
a sweet face.
Big baby.
She's soft.
Yeah, you can touch her too while she's holding.
See off her side.
Now I touch her side.
What did he do?
So how long have you had her?
We've had her since she was about 5 months old, and she's 16 months old now.
Where did you get them?
So we got both Zoe and Dash, our 8-month-old baby, from the same breeder. He's been doing it for over 30 years, and he's basically like the #1 supplier for all of the zoos and organizations like that in the U.S. There is no reputable breeder out there that would sell a member of one of their baby sloths to a member of the general public, just because it's a lot that goes into owning sloths, a lot more than people realize. It's not illegal, nor do you have to have permits to own sloths. But it's absolutely terrible to do so. So owning a pet sloth is really difficult because for reasons that we'll get into here in just a little bit, but everything about a sloth is very sensitive and very intricate and has to be well maintained and well, thought out and researched and everything, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that much, before they get the animal.
I'm sure that the right diet.
Exactly. The #1 thing being that sloths can't maintain their own body temperature. Their body temperature is going to be the same as it is on the air around them. And
Like a
so,
snake?
for the most part, yeah. They're not cold-blooded, they are warm-blooded animals, but they just can't maintain their own body temperature. They don't have enough energy to be able to do so. So the leaves that they eat, the Sarcopia leaves, are very low in caloric content, and it takes calories to make energy
Right.
and ATP. Says I'm exploring. Likes to look around sometimes, see what everything's about.
Oh my goodness.
And so because they don't have a whole lot of energy to make or to use, just don't let her get a hold of a finger because she does have sharp teeth. So
Okay.
they do have really poor eyesight, and she can't tell the difference between where sweet potato is and where a finger is. So if you wanna feed her some of this, you can.
Oh,
If she starts looking around more, we can give her some more of that.
okay.
Oh, there we go, she's already looking.
Can you grab one?
Good stuff. Good stuff. You were cute as well. Cute. I don't have anything for you, honey.
Does she want another one?
That's probably what she's looking for, yeah. Now with your left hand, you are touching her side, so when she gets finished eating that, she's probably gonna notice it. She can get distracted while she's eating, but then as soon as she realizes it, she's like, don't touch my side. And she's been that way since we first got her, so when she was still just a little baby, it was the way that she was.
So it's just her personality.
Yeah. And she was our first sloth baby, and so with any first baby, you know, you want to do everything just right. So when she started showing us she didn't like being touched in those areas, we went hands off in those areas.
Right.
And so because of that, she still knows that she's not allowed to be touched in those spots, so she's always kept those habits.
That's my friend, I don't have anything.
Wanna get fat?
She can have all that that's in there. She's a snacker, she eats all throughout the day.
What all do they eat besides zucchini and squash, carrots?
So they also eat, 75% of their diet is leaves,
Okay.
so they eat a lot of baby spinach and things like that. They also get 2 hard-boiled eggs a week, and that's their protein source.
Okay.
They get some fiber biscuits, those are a little bit harder, so they kind of get the plaque and stuff like that off of their teeth. And
Your side versus your back.
Don't have any bugs I know of. Do they, what are their natural predators?
so in the wild, the number one thing that's after them is the harpy eagle. So from the tops of the trees looking down at the sloth, they're a lot easier to spot, and they're a lot easier to get out of the branch. So they have specific locking mechanisms in their claws that allows them to hold on to a branch so tightly. Comparatively, sloths are like 3 times stronger than a human would be if we were their size. So they can withstand a jaguar or an ocelot holding onto that sloth's back, pulling down, because of those locking mechanisms they have in their claws. But if an eagle were to grab a hold of them, lifting them up off of the branch is a lot easier to do. And from the underside of the sloth, so looking from the top down at the belly of the sloth, they're a lot easier to spot. Whereas looking from the rainforest floor up at the back of the sloth, they have a lot of moss and algae and fungus and things like that growing all on them.
Camouflage?
Yep, so they're just camouflaged in. But the harpy eagle is definitely the number 1, and the number 2 is probably the jaguar or ocelot. They can find them pretty easily, just because they're excellent hunters. And then the snakes, you know, occasionally, but the snakes hunt by sense of smell and temperature differences. And so they're, you know, can't really find the sloth that easy because it's the same temperature as their environment.
Right.
And then they
No
don't have
body
any,
heat.
yeah, they don't have any scent glands, musk glands, or anything like that. And so they just smell like the rest of the rainforest. My goodness, buddy, you're scratching his ankle up.
Cleaning the dead
Yeah,
skin
he's
off.
just trying to get my tattoo.
Yeah.
They sleep upside down?
Mm-hmm, they do. So even if a sloth were to pass away holding onto a branch upside down, that sloth would not fall out of that tree. They would continue to hang there until something either knocked them off of the branch or something rotted. They would continue to hang there because the muscles and tendons and ligaments that are in their forearms are so tight that snap down is their relaxed state, so they're expending no energy to do that. But to actually have to let go or loosen up, that's what's usually using muscles and energy to do that.
They're relaxed closed.
Yeah.
Just chilling like a rock. Just chilling.
So you've got two,
We've got 3.
three.
And here in about a month, we should have a fourth one.
Oh,
So we'll be getting her from the same breeder that we got Zoe and Dash from. Now Flash, our old man, he's 6 years old, and I say old man, but he's gonna live to hopefully be a lot older than he is. In captivity, they can live to be up to 50 years old. But the oldest sloth that we know of was named Jan, and he passed away this past August in a zoo in Germany. He was 54 when he passed.
Wow.
So,
I had no idea they lived that
Yeah.
long.
but he came from a totally different situation than Zoe and Dash did. So he came from a facility that was just observation beforehand. Nobody ever touched him or interacted with him, held him or anything like that until he came here. And it took John like 2 years of really working with him, talking to him, spending time in there with him before he would be comfortable enough to come down and, even think about eating out of our hands. So that's what he does now. He has never offered to climb onto any of us. If he does, that will be completely his decision to do so.
Right.
But it's never shown any interest in that just yet.
He's an introvert.
It's been about half of our time. Did you guys want to trade over, or you want to hold the majority of the time?
She can have most of the time,
Okay.
but I will before we go, yeah.
Alright.
Is the sloth your most popular encounter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely the highlight of the place. A lot of the lives that we do and everything are on TikTok and Facebook. And the sloths are definitely the biggest thing that attracts people. And so we have the farm tour. It's a pretty good deal. It's just like $25 a person. You get to see all of the animals on the farm,
Okay.
excluding the sloths.
Right.
So we keep the sloth for just the sloth people.
Yeah. They're special.
Mhm. And sloths, believe it or not, are easily stressed animals. So obviously, she's not stressed. You can see that she likes this type of interaction.
Sure.
When I go in there to get her at first, if I'm standing over her in her hammock, she's already reaching up for me, trying to get me to pick her up because that's what she wants to do.
Okay.
And when I go to put her back in her hammock here in just a minute, if I stand in her enclosure for much longer after I put her down, she starts climbing through the branches back at me, trying to get me to pick her back up.
Well, that's good. That means it's not,
Yeah.
doesn't
So
hate.
you have a horrible
Yeah.
job.
And the other perk of being the sloth keeper is that they kind of they're used to a routine. They're a lot like we are in the fact that, if I set my alarm for 8:30, I'm expecting it to go off at 8:30. If it doesn't go off till 9:30, it throws off the rest of my day. So her encounters first thing in the morning are from 10:30 to 11, and then 11 to 11:30, and that's if she's fully booked for the morning. And then she has a long break until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And if she's fully booked in the afternoon, she just has one from 2 to 2:30, and then 2:30 to 3, and she's done for the rest of the day. So none of our sloths encounter for more than 2 hours a day total, and that's not ever back to back. That's if she's booked 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon.
Mhm.
And that's because while they do enjoy this type of interaction, too much of a good thing can
Right.
be bad.
Right.
So we want to always keep her looking forward to the next time that we're gonna come in there and get her, rather than feeling like it's a chore every time we come in there together. And so because of that, in the mornings, in the mornings, if she is not booked, and we have an encounter with Flash, which we do right out here, and then we don't go in there to hold her afterwards, she's kind of left like just sitting in there by herself, looking out the door like, what in the world? I thought somebody was gonna come in here and hold me.
Right.
And she's already ready for it. She's like holding on to the edge of the hammock, like looking out, like, all right, somebody's gonna come in here. And if they only book to see Flash, then she's kind of just left wondering. So if I have downtime, I'll go in there and actually just hold her, just to kind of get her to relax, because that's what she's looking forward to.
Doing this.
How long have you been a sloth keeper?
I've only been here for about a month and a half.
Okay.
So I'm wanting to get into vet school, and so I had a lot of large animals